I remember the scent of garlic and rosemary filling my kitchen while I stirred the pasta. My hands were steady, my movements smooth, and my lips even curled into a gentle smile. Greg would be home in 20 minutes. His favorite dinner was almost ready. But what he did not know, what he could never imagine, was that just an hour earlier, another man had his mouth on my skin. And I let him. I still felt the sting of his beard burn on my inner thighs. My lips were raw from the force of our kisses. My body betrayed my guilt, trembling with leftover pulses of heat and shame. I had barely washed myself clean in the motel sink. Yet here I was, wearing Greg's favorite apron and humming to a song playing in my head, the one that played while I was being undressed by a stranger. Before I take you into the darkness of this story, let me say this. To every new and returning viewer on this channel, thank you for being here. Your support, your subscriptions, your likes. They are the heartbeat that fuels this channel. If you are new here and the story already has you hooked, I cannot wait for you to hit that subscribe button right now. And please, share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what this story awakens in you. Now, let me take you back to the beginning. My name is Emily Richards. I am 37 years old. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood just outside of Charleston, South Carolina. I married Greg Richards 11 years ago. He gave me everything a broken girl like me never thought she deserved: a house, a name, 2 beautiful children, and above all, stability. Greg was not a man of flowers or surprise getaways. But he loved in the kindest, quietest way. He filled my gas tank without being asked. He folded laundry on Sundays while watching sports. He memorized my coffee order and set the alarm 10 minutes early so I could have time for myself before the kids woke up. But somewhere between school pickups, overdue bills, and dinner by 6:30, I forgot how to feel like a woman. I became reliable. I became needed. But I no longer felt wanted. That is where Aiden came in. It started at a coffee shop. A small, moody place just off Highway 41. I had dropped the kids off and planned to grade papers quietly. Yes, I was a part-time literature teacher. But then he sat next to me. He had the kind of voice that warned you before he even said anything of meaning. His compliments were not about my looks. They were about how I tilted my head when I read. About how I tapped my pen like I was composing poetry, even when I was writing lesson plans. He made me feel seen, not as a wife or a mother, but as something I had long buried, a woman. The flirtation was harmless at first. A couple of encounters. Some text messages. Then came the Thursday I lied to Greg, said I had a meeting at school, and booked a room off the interstate. I remember the first time Aiden touched me. It was not gentle. It was not respectful. It was ravenous. My back hit the wall of that motel room like a scene out of a forbidden novel. He kissed me like I belonged to him, like every inch of my skin owed him pleasure. I felt worshipped. I felt consumed. I moaned louder than I ever did with Greg, and that truth burns me even now as I speak it. And when it ended, sheets soaked in sweat, the air thick with betrayal, I cried in the bathroom. Not from guilt. Not even from shame. I cried because I knew I would do it again. I wiped off the mascara, put my bra back on, and drove straight home. The house smelled like laundry and lemon-scented floor cleaner. Greg had left a note by the stove. Hope your meeting went well. Thought I would start dinner for you. Love you, G. My stomach turned. The tears nearly came back. But instead, I turned on the burner, added the garlic, and stirred. As if nothing had happened. When Greg walked in, he kissed my cheek. I smiled. We ate in silence. He told me about his day. I nodded. I asked him about the kids' soccer practice. He gave me a full update. After dinner, he reached for my hand. Held it. And in that moment, I almost confessed. But I did not. Because I had just come back from a fantasy. And I was not ready to let it go. I tried to stop. That Friday, I left my phone on silent. I deleted Aiden's texts. I kept myself busy, laundry, cleaning out the fridge, volunteering for carpool duty. Anything to distract myself from the ache between my thighs and the hunger that still clawed at my insides. But silence has a cruel way of speaking louder than noise. And by Monday, my resolve had withered. I was walking through the cereal aisle at Target when I saw a man leaning against the checkout counter. Blue flannel, jeans, a cocky smile. Aiden. My heart slammed against my ribs. My knees almost gave out. I did not plan for what happened next. I could have walked past him. I could have chosen my children. My husband. My sanity. But I did not. Instead, I left a full cart behind and followed him out of the store like a moth chasing flame. And he knew I would. We did not talk much. He drove to the same motel, room 212. We barely closed the door before he pinned me to it. His hands tore through my blouse. His tongue was in my mouth, then on my skin, then further. My moans filled the small room, louder than last time, deeper than before. He was rough. Possessive. He said things that made my face burn, things Greg never dared whisper. Things I never even knew I craved. I came apart more than once, violently, desperately. And when it was over, I did not cry. I laid there, naked and tangled in sweat-soaked sheets, and I smiled. This time, I did not rush home. I let myself bask in the sin. That became our ritual. Once a week. Sometimes twice. Greg thought I had taken up yoga. He even bought me a new mat and water bottle. He told the kids, "Mommy's taking care of herself again." And I was. In the darkest, most selfish way imaginable. He was fixing us, planning weekend hikes, making marriage therapy appointments, reading articles on how to rekindle the spark. He was loving me the best way he knew how. And I was spreading my legs for another man in a motel just 10 minutes from our home. Then came the day I nearly got caught. It was a Thursday. Greg texted me that he was coming home early from work with a surprise. My heart stopped. I was still at the motel. Half naked. My wedding ring on the nightstand. I jumped up, pulled on my clothes, nearly fell over trying to find my bra. Aiden watched me, amused, then annoyed. He told me to relax. I snapped at him. Told him he did not understand. He laughed. Said I could never leave him now. It was not flirtation. It was something colder. And for the first time, I saw the man I had given myself to, not a fantasy, but a storm. A dangerous one. I made it home before Greg. Barely. I burned the lasagna trying to act normal. My hands shook as I set the table. He walked in smiling, holding a bouquet of white tulips, my favorite. Said he was proud of me. Said he wanted to take me on a trip. Just the two of us. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere to remember who we used to be. I wanted to collapse. I wanted to fall at his feet and scream, "I am so sorry." But I did not. I smiled. Took the flowers. Kissed his lips with the same mouth that had been devoured by another man hours ago. And when I made love to him that night, I closed my eyes and pictured Aiden. The guilt did not come in waves. It came in silence. Greg slept beside me every night, peaceful, loyal, unknowingly sharing his bed with betrayal. My children hugged me in the mornings, unaware that their mother was becoming someone else, someone darker. I was feeding a fire I could not control. And I was not just burning my marriage. I was burning myself. It ended the same way it started. Suddenly. One Monday morning, I stood in the kitchen pouring cereal into bowls for the kids, when Greg walked in with my phone in his hand. No good morning. No smile. Just silence, and my phone. Who is Aiden? My blood went cold. I tried to speak. I really did. But all that came out was a stuttered breath and the sound of my own shame crashing down around me. I saw the messages, he said. I saw the photos. I had forgotten to delete them. The last few. The ones Aiden begged me to send. Me in a towel. Me with flushed skin. Me smiling, the same smile I used to give Greg. He did not yell. Greg never raised his voice. That was the thing about him. He was the kind of man who absorbed pain in silence. Who bled behind his eyes. I was trying, he whispered, barely holding himself together. I was trying to fix us, Rachel. The sound of my name on his tongue broke me. The children were still at the table. He walked out before I could say anything. I followed him outside, barefoot, heart in my throat. I made a mistake, I said, trembling. He turned slowly, and his face was something I would never forget. It was not just hurt. It was devastation. Like watching a man discover a death he never saw coming. No, he said. You made a choice. For days, Greg barely spoke. He moved into the guest room. He packed a few things. He cooked dinner for the kids like nothing happened. But with me, he became a ghost. Still present, but unreachable. I stopped seeing Aiden. In truth, it had already grown cold between us. That last motel meeting ended with him asking me to leave Greg. Telling me he could give me more. I knew better. He was not safety. He was chaos dressed in lust. I blocked his number that night. I sat in the tub until the water went cold and cried so hard my ribs hurt. I wanted to erase it all. Rewind the tape. Be the woman Greg believed I was. But I had crossed a line. And there was no going back. Weeks passed. Then months. Greg filed for separation but agreed to co-parent at home while we figured things out. He did not want to break the kids' lives apart suddenly. That made it harder. We were strangers passing in the hallway. Sleeping under the same roof. Raising the same children. But our hearts were in different worlds. One night, I found him crying in the garage. He was holding an old photo of us from our wedding. His fingers trembled. His shoulders shook. I do not know how to stop loving you, he whispered. And I knew that was the final blow. Not the affair. Not the motel. Not the photos. The fact that even in all his pain, he still loved me. And I had destroyed him anyway. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. He moved into a townhome across the neighborhood to stay close to the kids. I kept the house. We split custody equally. Civil, respectful. Friendly on the outside. But every morning the kids ran to hug him, every night they cried when it was time to leave him. I died a little more inside. As for Aiden, I never saw him again. I heard he moved. Some said he got a new job in Arizona. Others said he was still around, preying on married women like me. Honestly, I no longer cared. What haunted me was not him. It was the man who loved me beyond measure, and the version of myself I could never fully forgive. Now, I wake up each day with a little more truth. I was not just unfaithful to my husband. I was unfaithful to the woman I used to be. The one who believed in forever. The one who built a family with her best friend. The one who forgot that real love does not always burn like fire, sometimes it grows like roots. And once you rip them out for fantasy, there is no replanting them whole again. Candle, thank you for listening to the end. If this story stirred something in you, please leave your thoughts below. Your engagement keeps this channel alive.